shaped stones used for? We don't know. Our builders and architects come up with all kinds of outlandish ideas. Well, I've reached the conclusion that those are actually the tips that focus the sound into a Caesar beam. Remember, everything we talk about is sound. They use sound as a source of energy. This is why the circles are specific shapes. Not only that, the Sumerian tablets tell us that they built these circular structures in concentric circles to create what they refer to as the earth splitter, energy devices, and this is directly from the Sumerian translations, with which the Anunnaki and the Lulu Amelu, the primitive workers, could make gashes in the ground to extract the gold. That stuff is just spectacular. And
now, was the gold used for space travel?
You know what I found? I think it is used for a lot more stuff than we can imagine. The food of the gods, and was probably the most important one for them, because that kept them as enlightened beings and connected to each other on various levels that I think we're still going to learn a lot more about. David Hudson has a lot to say about that himself. Give you ESP ability, all that kind of stuff. But I believe also for other practical applications, and the reason I say this is there was an interesting article in Nature, published in Nature or one of the scientific publications about 3 or 4 years ago. That, they can create synthetic DNA. They create synthetic DNA, and it's an intelligent organism because they can instruct it what shape to take. When they immerse that DNA into nanoparticles of either gold or silver or aluminium or whatever you want to, but they specifically say gold. I don't know why they say that. It takes on, the gold binds with the DNA in a very specific lattice form and creates an indestructible material. When you cut it or break it, it automatically heals itself. So you've created a gold embedded cybergenetic organism that can be programmed to grow to a specific shape. And this is happening right now. So when they talk about possibly creating a shield around their planet, Nibiru, the Anunnaki talk about that, your listeners will know about that as well. I think it had probably something to do with that kind of thing, more than just scattering the particles in space and, hoping they'll stay up there. I think it was something more like this, to create an impenetrable, indestructible shield around a planet for all kinds of reasons. And it gets even deeper than that, because it now seems that the chemtrails that they're spraying around with aluminium are not just to poison people and create depopulation programs, but also for protecting a protective shield against all kinds of laser beams and death rays that come out of space, because the aluminium particles disperse those beams. This is David Wilcock's interesting information, by the way.
I'm glad you said that, because I've been looking up in the skies and wondering what's going on up there too. Boy, we could talk about all kinds of things.
And the interesting thing is that all this links back to these people in South Africa, and that's why I get so excited about this, because whatever direction you go, you can bring it all back down to Southern Africa, the original gold mining operations, because the reason we're sitting here talking about all this is because of what was going on down there originally, 285,000 years ago. And I must just qualify that, because a lot of your listeners will say, well, how can you throw out 285,000 years, There's some interesting translations in the Sumerian tablets. One of them says the following: when 40 Shar after arriving on Earth, Enki built himself a special place of observing in the deep Abzu on the edge of a cliff, in line with his abode further north and the other peaks. Excuse me.
Wow.
When you decode that translation, 40 Shah after arriving on Earth gets translated into 285,000 years ago, if one Shah is 3,600 years. And that falls perfectly into the spectrum of various other analyses. Several of them is decoding Adam's calendar, or what we now call Enki's calendar, that he built 285,000 years ago on the edge of a cliff in the deep Abzu. And that's why we now believe what I originally called Adam's calendar, I'm now calling Enki's calendar, because all the evidence points to the fact that Enki had built it. And guess what's further north? Is Great Zimbabwe Ruins, which is his house. It's exactly in line. And guess what's further north in line with that? Is the Great Pyramid of Egypt, all along the 31 degrees east longitudinal line, perfectly along that line. And it's fascinating, because that's not coincidental or accidental, because that number 31, also a numeric science and decoding the value of the letters in Hebrew, adds up to 31, means Elohim, the Elohim gods of the Bible.
That's fascinating. Now, all this information's in your books. We've only got a couple minutes. Why don't you tell everybody what your information is, so that they can contact you, look for your information, go on your website, see where you're out and about in the United States?
Yeah, it's, firstly, my USA tour is about halfway.
Okay.
We have, I'm here until the 18th of July.
Okay.
You can look that up on any of my websites. Just click on the USA banner. And the websites are zuluplanet.com, that's ZULU planet.com, or slavespecies.com, or go to michaeltillinger.blogspot.com, and it takes you straight to the schedule.
That's great. And where can people pick up your books?
They are available in America in the bookstores.
Okay.
If they don't have it, tell them to order it.
Okay.
Or order it on Amazon. They normally have stock. And or from one of my websites. You can also order them there. But in the USA, it's a lot quicker if you order it from Amazon.
Okay,
yeah.
Great. Well, there's a lot of information in there, a lot of beautiful pictures. Let's talk a little bit about the Paranormal Connection. We air the first and third Monday of the month. Monday, 9 p.m., Tuesday, 1 p.m., Wednesday at 5 a.m. So we hope you can join us. If you'd like to contact me, my email address is dannasjourney@sbcglobal.net, and my name is spelled D-A-N-N-A, so dannasjourney@sbcglobal.net. I keep all the information on my guests. I have a blog. It's paranormal-connection-donna-donna.blogspot.com. You can always Google my name and Paranormal Connection, and you're gonna get all the information you need on the blog spot and the show. So you can always go that route. Okay. Well, I just want to one thing that I noticed when I was looking at some of the aerial views of some of the crop circles and stuff, is they all look like computer chips, which I think is so fascinating. Now, are you finding a lot of correlation between what was then and what we're using now in a specific way?
That is a simple question that has a very interesting and long, complicated answer. And the reason I say that is, it took me many years, or at least 3 years, to figure out that they were using sound as a source of energy, and figure out how they use the tools, these basic tools, to use as Sazer beams, right? And remember, Sazer technology is only about 2 or 3 years old. We've only discovered Sazer technology now.
Wow.
And but it doesn't stop there. It looks like they were also using light as a source of energy, because they don't only use the hornfels, specific hornfel stones in constructing the ruins. They also use specific sandstone or silica, very rich, specific silica dioxide or silica stones, which is fiber optics, right?
Oh my goodness.
Silica dioxide. So. And many of these we've measured. Also, what we didn't talk about is the immense frequencies and the energies that we've measured electronically that are coming out of these. So when I say they were energy devices, I can say it with absolute confidence because we've measured it.
That's wonderful. Well, hopefully this information is in your book, because we're out of time, Michael, and I hate to say that. Thank you, everybody, for coming out. This has been such an amazing conversation, and I hope people will look further into this information on your... Do you have any... you have this on your website as well?
Well, not yet.
Not yet, but it's going to be, right?
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for coming by. I know you're a busy man, and this is something that we're all happy to share.
Thanks very much, Donna.
Okay.